Easter is the celebration of Jesus' victory over death, his resurrection from the dead. Many world leaders mark the occasion by wishing Christians a happy Easter. But if we know anything about British leaders, it's that they're going to use this Christian holiday to tell us about Islam, even though the vast majority of Muslims believe that Jesus never died and never rose from the dead. So, how is King Charles going to inject Islam into a Christian holiday celebrating an event that Muslims reject? Let's find out. There are three virtues that the world still needs: faith, hope, and love. And the greatest of these is love. He's quoting 1 Corinthians 13, which is an amazing chapter of the Bible. It's sometimes called the love chapter. King Charles says that the world needs these three virtues: faith, hope, and love. I agree completely. Can you think of three virtues the world doesn't need? I can. Stupidity, gullibility, and cowardice. Mainly because they're not really virtues. They're only virtues according to British leaders. But let's see how the king works Islam into his Easter message. One of the puzzles of our humanity is how we are capable of both great cruelty and great kindness. Indeed, kindness towards the grooming gangs and cruelty towards their victims. This paradox of human life runs through the Easter story and in the scenes that daily come before our eyes. At one moment, terrible images of human suffering, and in another, heroic acts in war-torn countries where humanitarians of every kind risk their own lives to protect the lives of others. A few weeks ago, I met many such people at a reception in Buckingham Palace and felt a profound sense of admiration for their resilience, courage, and compassion. Strange, the king praises the heroic acts of people who risk their lives to protect others, and yet the British government throws people in jail for criticizing an ideology that calls for the violent subjugation of their children. On Maundy Thursday, Jesus knelt and washed the feet of many of those who would abandon him. His humble action was a token of his love that knew no bounds or boundaries and is central to Christian belief. He says that Jesus' love knew no bounds or boundaries, so that when he brings up Islam in the next sentence, Christians will think that this boundless love means embracing an ideology that calls for the violent subjugation of Christians everywhere. The love he showed when he walked the earth reflected the Jewish ethic of caring for the stranger and those in need. Pause. Why does King Charles mention the Jewish ethic of caring for the stranger and those in need? This Jewish ethic has way more to do with Jesus than Islam does, since Jesus lived, died, and rose from the dead in first century Israel, but why mention it here? I would be totally fine with him mentioning it if I didn't know that he's just manipulating his readers. King Charles has no interest whatsoever in referencing Jewish ethics in a message about Easter. He only brings up Jewish ethics so that when he inserts Islam into the discussion, the agenda won't be as conspicuous. In other words, if he randomly tossed Islam into his Easter message, his intent would be glaringly obvious. But if he mentions Jewish ethics first, followed by Islam, and then other religious traditions, he's just being broad-minded and reveling in diversity. With that in mind, the love he showed when he walked the earth reflected the Jewish ethic of caring for the stranger and those in need, a deep human instinct echoed in Islam and other religious traditions, and in the hearts of all who seek the good of others. Now that he's fulfilled his kingly duty of praising Islam, he can finally say something about Easter. The abiding message of Easter is that God so loved the world, the whole world, that he sent his Son to live among us, to show us how to love one another, and to lay down his own life for others in a love that proved stronger than death. There are three virtues that the world still needs: faith, hope, and love. And the greatest of these is love. It is with these timeless truths in my mind and my heart that I wish you all a blessed and peaceful Easter. I wouldn't ordinarily have much to say about Islam in an Easter message, but since King Charles brought it up, I'll just mention 4 verses from the Quran. Surah 5, verse 51. O you who believe, take not the Jews and the Christians as awliya, friends, protectors, helpers. They are but awliya of each other. And if any amongst you takes them as awliya, then surely he is one of them. Verily, Allah guides not those people who are the zalimun, polytheists and wrongdoers and unjust. So, don't take Jews or Christians as friends, protectors, or helpers. If you do, you're a Jew or a Christian, not a Muslim. Surah 9, verse 29. Fight against those who believe not in Allah, nor in the last day, nor forbid that which has been forbidden by Allah and His Messenger, Muhammad, and those who acknowledge not the religion of truth, i.e. Islam, among the people of the Scripture, Jews and Christians, until they pay the jizya with willing submission and feel themselves subdued. So, Allah commands His followers to fight us until we pay tribute money called jizya with willing submission and feel ourselves subdued. What's jizya? Here's the commentary. Paying jizya is a sign of kufr, unbelief, and disgrace. Allah said, until they pay the jizya, if they do not choose to embrace Islam, with willing submission, in defeat and subservience, and feel themselves subdued, disgraced, humiliated, and belittled. That's what Allah commands in Surah 9, verse 29. What did Jews and Christians do to deserve such treatment? Next verse. And the Jews say, Uzair, Ezra, is the son of Allah. And the Christians say, Messiah is the son of Allah. That is their saying with their mouths, resembling the saying of those who disbelieved aforetime. Allah's curse be on them, how they are deluded away from the truth. So, Jews have to be subjugated because they claim that Ezra is the son of Allah, even though Jews don't claim that Ezra is the son of Allah. Christians have to be subjugated because we claim that Jesus, the Messiah, is the son of Allah. Allah curses us for calling Jesus the Son. Why is this relevant? Well, King Charles said, the abiding message of Easter is that God so loved the world, the whole world, that He sent His Son to live among us. Since King Charles just called Jesus the Son, the Quran says that Allah's curse is on King Charles and that he must be violently subjugated. Although, in this case, violence may not be necessary, since the king seems all too willing to bend the knee. And if the abiding message of Easter is about Jesus, the Son of God, then Allah's curse is on Easter. Strange to praise a religion that curses Easter in a message about Easter, but that's British leadership for you. One more, Surah 98, verse 6. Verily, those who disbelieve in the religion of Islam, the Quran, and Prophet Muhammad, from among the people of the Scripture, Jews and Christians, and al-mushrikun, mushrikun are people who associate partners with Allah, will abide in the fire of hell. They are the worst of creatures. According to the Quran, Jews and Christians are the worst of creatures. We're lower than dogs. We're lower than pigs. We're lower than insects. If you ever wondered how the grooming gangs could justify treating non-Muslim girls so horribly, it's because they view non-Muslim girls as lower than dogs, lower than pigs, lower than insects. It's straight from the Quran. Part of being a good king or a good prime minister is acknowledging and confronting harsh realities. Unfortunately, the UK has King Charles and Keir Starmer, aka Dumb and Dumber, Weak and Weaker, Fake and Faker. But for those of you who think that with such pathetic leadership the United Kingdom is officially doomed, think again. Jesus' followers thought he was gone, until he appeared to them more powerful than before. I invite all of you in the UK who are mourning the death of your culture to turn to the one who conquered death. I speak from experience here. I had completely ruined my life by the time I was 20 years old. I was in a jail cell waiting to be sent to my third mental hospital, waiting to be sentenced for another crime, when I realized that if anyone knows how to deal with a hopeless situation, it's the one who rose from the dead. And here I am, almost 30 years later, wishing you Happy Easter.